The Pro Roughstock 2014 8 Seconds of Insanity Tour is about to conclude the first half of the season. We are in Everett, Washington. The competition is fierce among the Bareback, Saddle Bronc, and Bull riders. The bucking horses and bulls are raring to go. Welcome to the inaugural PRS Cascade Challenge. We are at Comcast Arena here in downtown Everett, where the crowds are really beginning to fill in. Hello, everyone. I'm Justin McKee, and joining me is the guru of bareback riding, world champion Kelly Timberman, and the amazing racer himself, Cord McCoy. We're going to take you through an exciting half hour here on RFD TV. But let's talk about the season standings before we get started here, Cord, in all three of the Roughstock events.
Well, not much has changed after Toledo, Ohio. Justin McDaniel is still number one in bareback riding. John Jacobs lead the bull riding, but he's out with a shoulder separation at least until the fall schedule. And in Saddle Bronc, J.J. Elsher is our red-hot rider after his fourth straight event title.
Yeah, 4 wins in a row is rare, and fifth is not going to happen. J.J. Elsher is not here to try to win that 5 in a row. But I'll tell you who is here. 2013 Miss Rodeo America, Shanae Shiner, is down at the chutes. And Shanae, we'd love to hear your impression so far of Everett, Washington.
You know what, Justin? I've traveled all over the country as Miss Rodeo America, and I've been to a lot of great events. But as I'm here in Everett, Washington, talking to the stock contractors, getting a feel from the contestants about what is going on here, everyone is so excited about what's happening with the PRS. It's very thrilling to be a part of and to see what's going to happen as this grows bigger and bigger.
Well, thank you, Shanae. There has been a lot of change over the course of this year in the Pro Roughstock Series. There's seems to be growing by leaps and bounds. Kelly, as we look at the seasoned bareback riders, one guy we haven't talked about is Jared Keelan.
You know, he's a rookie coming in. He's won 2 back-to-back. This could possibly be his 3rd title in a row.
All right, he's number 5 in the season standings as we get ready to go to the chutes. Right now, we're talking about Morgan Heaton out of Paradise, Utah.
Barty Rodeo, all the way from Utah, has some of the most dynamic bareback horses you've ever seen. And this Morgan Heaton, he knows a lot of them.
Well, we're off and rolling. Here's the guy out of Paradise, Utah himself. He should know these Utah bucking horses, and he's going to get the ball rolling here in Everett, looking for a place to get off. And in the meantime, we're looking at the Rocky replay.
Long-legged bareback rider gets a good, solid start. Horse really starts bailing in the air about 3 jumps. Morgan's making a really nice spur ride. I'd like to see him a little bit more aggressive when he's setting those feet. That kind of cost him at the end, got a little bit into his arm, but really overall, that was a nice, really nice bareback horse.
Whoa, judges love it. 86.5 for Morgan Heaton. Now here's Cimarron Gerke, the comeback kid. He's number 3 in points of the season. He's on Pocahontas from Barty Rodeo Company.
What a classy bareback horse. This is one of those horses the guys they salivate over. This is the horse that everybody wants to draw. It's usually a first place check whenever you draw this horse, and Cimarron makes a good ride, but he's a little bit flat with his feet, folks. You see how his feet are coming to the bottom of that rigging? We want those feet to be coming towards the top of that rigging handle and be exposed, setting those feet up in the main line. Just kind of an average ride for Cimarron.
But it's an 87. 87 for Cimarron Gerke. He'll take the lead by half a point as we go to young Tanner Bergener on Twice as Shy from Barty Rodeo Company. Tanner comes out of Douglas, Wyoming.
Tanner's been another guy that's been hot in our tour. He made the finals of the last event, and here's got another horse really bailing the air. Wild. That horse there is fun to ride. He never missed a stroke.
He had to speed up, slow down his spur stroke to stay in timing with the horse, and he did it very well.
Yeah, and you know, that's the difficulty of the animal. The horse really turned back right to the right there. Could have threw him right into his arm, and then jumps in the air, makes a couple different jumps,
yeah.
But he didn't miss a lick. He stayed in contact.
The last 2 events, he's been outstanding. I'm telling you, this is going to be huge. Yes, it is. It's 92 points for Tanner Bergener. Judges must have got a shot at WD-40 or something, knock the rust off those pencils. I love it.
Well, you know, they're using the spread. The spread is 0 to 100, and it's nice to see those guys finally using those top 10 points.
Yes, sir. Taylor Price out of Huntsville, Texas is on Pinto Pass.
Taylor came in today. His plane was late. had to borrow all of his equipment. He's got Bronc riding spurs on right there,
Really?
and somebody else's shafts, and just made a 24 spur ride on borrowed equipment.
Wow, that is tough to do with the bareback riding. No, you guys are picky about that.
Well, it is. The shanks of the spurs are different. The Bronc riding spur is shorter. Bareback riding is longer because it gives more drag. The spur rowel is smaller in the Bronc riding, which, in the bareback riding it's bigger, so allows the speed.
What a contest in bareback riding today. 88.5 for Taylor Price. Let's go to Brian Bain. Oh, B Money. He's on Jess from Bar T Rodeo Company.
B Money, he's one of the longest leg guys out there, but look at how fast his feet are to the front end.
Yeah,
He's in
yeah.
contact before that horse hits the ground. And, folks, that's being on top of your game, being an athlete, and he's going for exposure all the way through that. That's what you want to see in a bareback ride.
That's going to the top of the rigging like you were talking about and going behind the ears. I mean, look at the drag. He is going to let the good times roll. Hey, Kelly, this has got to be another monster score here.
Yeah.
How about that? 91.5.
Bring it on, B Money.
I'm telling you, he is working it here. And here's Josie Young, cutthroat from Bar T Rodeo Company.
Josie Young sat up a little bit early last event. Kind of, I think it upset him a bit. I see for him to make a really strong ride today. Great mark out. Boy, he's aggressive. I haven't seen Josie be this aggressive in a long time. I bet his wife's up in the stands watching.
Oh, I'll bet she
Yeah,
is.
she
Yeah,
is.
that's who he's pointing to right there. Look out, Josie Young. We might be going to the 90s again.
Man, a good spur ride. He's a little bit flat with that left leg,
Yeah.
but he's still getting up above that point of the shoulder, still getting up to that rigging handle. And that horse there had a lot of direction change, a lot of movement, and that was an aggressive spur ride.
It's a 90 for Josie Young. You're going to have to be 90 perhaps to make the Wrangler Final Four round next week. Here's the hottest rider so far in the last 2 weeks. Jared Keelan has won the last 2 events in a row out of Kansas. He's on Barfly from Buster Bain Rodeo Company.
Good start. The horse is just a little bit weaker than the rest of the pen. But man, that guy is so on his game. That is a spectacular spur ride. Watch his start. Spurs right up to his rigging handle. He's going to start setting those feet up high in the mane. That's what you want to see. And then at the same time, look at how exposed he is in doing it and in control at the same time.
He can spur better than maybe anybody in the world right now. Unfortunately, the horse is not as much to contend with these other monsters here today. 83 points for Keelan. Well, I have just received word that 92 is the highest marked bareback ride in PRS history. So congratulations once again to Tanner Bergener. Right now, he's with Shanae Shiner.
I knew I was going to have to give it everything I had to be able to get a check out of it. I mean, those guys ride great. There's some NFR qualifiers in that group, and I was just blessed to be able to put it all together.
Coming up, the 2013 Redmond champion Cody Ford. Could there be another 90-point ride in the making? Welcome back to the Comcast Center here in Everett, Washington. It's time for bull riding. And Cord, as we look at the standings, what might we see tonight?
Dave Sample lost a spot last week to John Young. He's competing here tonight and could regain some lost ground. Also, we have a few young riders matched up with some of Way Out West's best spinners. These guys have a lot of try, and that always makes for exciting watching.
Let's head to the chutes. Tyler Moso out of Ellensburg, Washington, on a bull called All Out from Way Out West Rodeo.
Well, this is the first time that I've seen him, and you know that the PRS Tour is televised and good bulls matched up against the best guys. These guys want to come in here the first time and show everybody what they've got. I mean, this is kind of the first time on stage for some of these guys.
Halfway through the ride, bull turns back to the left, gets him strung out a little bit, loses his rope, and he comes down early.
You talk about the shaps, and it's not a requirement to wear shaps, but sometimes the shap really shows the movement of the bulls, the change of directions. So I always think for a judge's event, I think the shaps are good.
Let's go now to Cody Loomis out of Goldendale, Washington. Doc Holliday is the bull from Two Bucks Rodeo Bulls.
Well, you definitely want to get in there and get him a good shot, especially if you know the bull is going to be right there to the right. That's something. He knows that he dropped something right there. This bull makes the same move over and over again, especially if you know. Well, the bull kind of stumbled there in the back end a little bit, set him off his rope some. Maybe that's what happened. See, right.
See, he got gathered back up.
Yeah.
But as soon as he did, he lost it.
Yeah, not bad enough. You
Not
think
long enough.
That bull was making the same move over and over again. You think if you can ride him the first jump, you can ride him the whole way.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That's what I like about the bullfighters, though. I just got to outrun one of them out there, though. It always gives me just a little bit of hope.
Jace Caitlin out of Toledo, Washington, is on a bull called Little Evil, and these bull riders better step it up if they're going to keep up with the bareback riding tonight.
Oh, there's some great scores, and they got to be sitting there watching the bareback riding and want to make the 90-point rides too.
There it is.
Go ahead, kick one time,
No!
Little Evil.
Well, he wasn't going to let go, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He was way out of position, was still hanging on to that bull.
That bull was a little flat, just coming around.
Oh, look at that left foot.
Man, it's a recovery I didn't see the first time. That
Boy,
bull
he
just
did.
kind of got him set back a little bit. One kick over would have got him back up there. I got to give it to that guy, though. He ain't letting go. He still ain't letting go.
Yeah. We'll get him out of here and move on to our next one. As you can see, the times on the attempts so far, Caitlin with the longest ride so far, 6.38. Let's rewind to Cody Ford. He's up next in 2013 on Bar T Space Monkey. 87 points to win in Redmond. It's good to see Cody Ford back, and tonight he is on Raging Cajun from way out west.
Well, Cody, he's a good rider. He's been around for a while, especially you get up in his country now. He's hard got to beat out there.
But it looks like he's got this one knocked out. He's going to take him to 8.
I tell you what, that's some cowboy stuff right there, because he knew that whistle was coming, and he knew if he reached down, he could save himself, but he wanted the money. Right here, you can see him get in there, and he just thinks, I'm going to take a hit for the paycheck I'm fixing to receive.
Did you guys see Jason walking up, the bullfighter just walking up that fence right there, waiting to save that
cowboy? You can see it coming,
cowboy?
but you don't want to cause a problem there. That's why they pay the guys.
Jason McCall and Torrey Cooper always do a fantastic job. No matter where he lands, they got him covered. 89 points for Cody Ford. First qualified ride, and it's a dandy. Now let's go to Jake Surratt from Battleground, Washington. 4 of Hearts from the Two Bucks Rodeo Bulls. As we take a look at Jake Surratt trying to make his debut meaningful. Holy cow. My goodness, ended up between the bull's head, on top of the bull's head, between the bull's horns. That look said it all. Look at that. He is upside down. He's a hood ornament between the bull's horns.
He was just as surprised to get out of there as we were. GoPro shot. You see, oh man, it wheeled his head right between the horns, almost got the feet. I think he's tipping his hat to that bull. He's a little surprised to get away without missing some teeth there. It's real funny when you ain't going out in a stretcher.
Now you can laugh about it. Let's go down to Dave Sampson. Kid Frost is the bull from way out west, a 43-year-old trying to beat these kids half his age, and he's been doing it most of the season. He's number 4 in points. And here we go. Get you some altitude. And oh yeah, did that bull hit him in the face?
I think it did. He just trying to reach out to the front there, take a little bit of power away from that bull. I think he just reached just about an inch too far. You see this bull rearing and drop.
Oh yeah, it got him.
Yeah, it got him.
You better believe it. Dave Sampson would still be riding that bull if that bull not just give him a big old wallop right there between the eyes. He might be spitting out teeth. No, that's his chin.
That's one of those rides that you remember every morning you're up there shaving. You're like, yeah, that's Everett, Washington right there. I just shaved over.
Well, the bull riders might not have put up as many big scores as the bareback riding, but it was pretty much just as exciting. There you have it. Cody Ford, the only qualified ride. The other 3 going to be in the Wrangler Final Four based on their time rides. Stay with us. Saddle Bronc riding is up next, and our MMA expert Jesse Williams takes dead aim at ending J.J. Elsher's win streak. We're back at the Comcast Center here in Everett, where the fans are enjoying the Rocky Boots dance-off during the break, and we're ready for Saddle Bronc. Shanae Shiner loads the chute for us with a rematch ride for a Las Vegas Cowboy.
We do. Tyler Bieza and Big John are meeting once again. Now, when I spoke with Tyler earlier, he said that the last time he rode Big John, he actually didn't show the horse to its best potential. So he's looking forward to coming out tonight, both delivering a great ride and getting into our Final Four.
Thank you, Shanae. And Kelly, as we look at the world standings, this might be the time for Jesse Williams to finally make a big move.
Jess Williams comes in today, and nobody that's above him in the leaderboard is here entered today.
Let's get to the Bronco Depot right now and start off with Charlie Barker. This guy can work every rodeo event.
This is another great horse. Echo Bay of Bartees is a good bareback also. Really jumping out across her, kind of phony head a little bit, taking her head up, kind of looking back at him. Makes it really hard to lift on your rein and charge for that front end.
Yeah, this guy impresses me. You talk about a cowboy that can work every event. He can rope, he can bulldog, he can ride all 3 rough stock events. This guy is an athlete.
I definitely see exactly what Kelly's talking about. By the second jump, that horse is just taking his head and just tilting it over the right, just giving him the rein back.
Yeah, the judges loved it, and so did I. 87 points for Charlie Barker. We've seen him on the PBR Tour as a bull rider, now as a bronc rider here on the PRS. Big score to start us off. Now to Taylor Baeza, Big John, and the rematch. Maybe even the score and take advantage of a good draw.
Yeah, you could see right there his feet dropped a little bit too soon, but same deal, straight down the pin, really good horse. That right there, I tell you, that guy couldn't have drawn a better horse. They kind of weakened at the end, but man, oh man, what a good draw.
It was, he was kind of in time, but Kelly always talks about in the bareback riding too, you want to beat him to the ground. When the judges know that you're ahead of him, he's meeting him there. I mean, a smidge further would be more points.
Yeah, those judges want to see those feet in contact and staying, not moving when that horse's front feet hit the ground.
You're controlling where your feet go.
Will Schaefer, Lisco, Nebraska, has been on tour the last couple of weeks, and he's got golden years. Oh, my. That horse's front feet hit the ground. I mean, it'll jar your fillings out of your teeth.
That's a bucking horse. Will's been kind of struggling with his equipment the last few rodeos, and I think, he's got such a good horse up underneath him that he just needs to believe in his equipment and be a cowboy and go for it.
That's not a good horse to fix your equipment on. It's a good thing he tucked and rolled there right at the end.
That was Wild West cowboy stuff. Good watching as we go to Roy Johnson of Etna, California on Honey Ridge, a Bartee Rodeo Company.
Well, you got to give it up to Bartee. He's brought some buckers now.
Yes, sir. They have been impressive. And here's another jam-up bronc horse right here. Fancy footwork by Roy Johnson. I like it.
The same thing that Cord was talking about a little bit earlier. Great spur out. Kind of brought him back a little bit early. But I'd like to see this cowboy reach up and get a little bit higher in the point of shoulder. He's just kind of barely getting there. We want him up in the base and neck. Still a great ride, but he could have probably been, high 80s if it had been up in the middle of that
I do
neck.
like Honey Ridge, though. Keep her head down, land square, a good horse to help you out for a good score.
86.5. That'll put him in the number 2 spot behind Charlie Barker. Now to Ray Tom Myers on Trudy from Bartee Rodeo. Ray Tom from Mills, Wyoming. And here we go. Another strong horse in Bartee.
Had the start that we wanted, right there, held his feet all the way through that first jump, but missed a couple licks across there. It's going to hurt him a little bit in the score, but all in all, I mean, a good bronc ride and a really nice horse to draw.
It's a spurring contest. I think the PRS has done such a great job of putting a set of horses together. Every horse has been out so far has given you an opportunity to win.
And you could see, even though he missed that one lick, he was still charging in contact with that horse's neck. That's all control.
Points. 86. Let's go now to Isaac Diaz. Here's a cowboy that was raised in Florida and been to the Wrangler National Finals. He's on Jackal from Bartee Rodeo Company. Oh, this guy's got fast feet. Oh, he does. Look at this. Look at this. He's a machine. Talk about a long spur stroke and sticking them up there in the neck where they belong.
That horse was not a favorable bronc to draw. Didn't really kick every jump. Had a lot of low bucks, jump side to side, weird movement. But Isaac, look how he's setting his feet in that neck. You could see his feet wobbly, so aggressive setting him up there. That was a great bronc ride.
I think that's a veteran move. The horse wasn't helping him. He was doing it all himself.
Good, well said. 87.5, and he will take the lead. Now to Jesse Williams, the number 3 rider from Paso Robles, California, on One Robin.
This is a bucking horse. This is probably one of the strongest horses in the pen.
Boy, there's a lot of bucking horses from Bartee that's got Robin in there. And that horse just jerked the rein out of his hand.
That's kind of like in a bull run. You lose your rein, you're done.
Oh, you talk about it. I feel like somebody pushed you off the edge there. You don't have a hold of anything.
Somebody reached in your window and took your steering wheel out of your car going 70 miles an hour.
There ain't a good way out from there. You know, some of the riders try to run some of that rain, and that's the chances you're taking. Sometimes when you want to give it an inch, they take it all.
Well, there we have it. It's a no score for Jess Williams. He's not going to climb any higher in the point standings for the season. Here are your final 4 qualifiers, with Barker getting on the board there, but Isaac Diaz had the fanciest style of them all. Still to come right here in Everett in the top highlights of the night. Well, we are back here in Everett, Washington. It's time to look at the highlights from tonight's performance and our Kershaw Cutting Edge Performance highlight of the night.
My Kershaw Cutting Edge of the night's going to go to Tanner Bergner. Douglas, Wyoming Cowboy boasts a 92-point bareback ride, the highest marked ride in PRS bareback history.
There's nothing like the best ride, and there's nothing like a Kershaw cut. And speaking of cuts, take a look once again at Dave Samsel with a head-on collision. Broken jaw for Dave Samsel. The good news is he'll have the rest of the off-season, the summer season, to heal up for that big fall run. Now it's time for our John Deere Big Buck of the Night, which goes to the top-performing animal. Cord, who do you like?
4 of Hearts of 2 bucks rodeo bulls all the way. He got it right between his horns and under his feet. To me, that's a big buck to me.
Wow.
Hey,
Woo,
hey.
man, hey, look at that. Oh, what a way to end the show. Our Big Buck of the Night is sponsored by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Next week, our regular Final Four Showdown round from here in Everett. For Cord McCoy and Kelly Timmerman, along with Shanae Shiner, I'm Justin McKee. Thanks for being with us. See you next week.